Hey guys, what's up? Cardfight here, and today I'm here with a Dark Irregular deck profile. This will be the updated Amon build for you players who have been playing with an Amon deck before. And this is definitely one of the more consistent builds for Dark Irregular, in my opinion. It's more consistent than a Generation Break build, simply because this deck has the ability to rush, and you can build up Soul faster, in my opinion, at least. I have both builds, but I'm just going to show you guys this build first because it's a build that I enjoy playing more, and I find it personally more powerful. So let's get right into the deck profile. Tour guide sleeves. Yeah, some people have been asking me about that, but I'll talk about that a bit later. Alright, so our starting Vanguard, we're going to run Amon's Follower, Barmaid Grace. This is the new card, the new starter that we got in the new set, and it is a very, very powerful card. What it does is Counterblast 1, rest this unit, and then you can give an Amon. If you have a Amon Vanguard, you can Soul Charge 2 and then choose one of your Amon cards, and until end of turn it gets the new effect. Basically, it gets 1000 power for every card in your soul. So basically, she turns one of your cards into a mini Amon. You can also give this to your Vanguard or Rearguard. So very flexible card and a very powerful card. Good for soul charging and finishers. She works pretty well with the stride units. So yeah. Next we play 4 of the Amon Legion. So he Legions with the old Amon, and his skill is when this card's in Legion and you have 10 or more cards in your soul, he gets +1 critical. And then another skill is when a opponent's Rearguard is put in the drop zone with a card effect, with your card effect, and you have Amon, another unit with Amon in the center column, you can Soul Charge 3 and you can't repeat this effect. So basically he just works with the old Amon with Soul Charging. You rarely actually use it because most of the time you'll be striding, but in the events that you can't stride, then you can just go in Legion and you'll be still putting a lot of pressure on your opponent because you'll be hitting for pretty big numbers and you get that extra critical. So you're definitely going to force out some cards in your opponent's hand. Next, we'll play 3 of the old Amon. Skill is this card gets +1000 power for every Dark Irregular in your soul. So obviously, since this deck has Dark Irregulars, all your soul is going to be Dark Irregular. And yeah, you'll be hitting for pretty big numbers if you're in Legion, since if you have 10 more soul, you get 10k. So you're going to be hitting for at least 30k. But that's not the main thing. This was the old engine, and it's still pretty effective. But you kind of want to run the stride more. You want to use strides unit more nowadays. So anyway, you run 2 Amon Reverse mainly because if you happen to charge Amon into your soul, you can be a beefy 13k Vanguard on your opponent's turn if you ride this. So if you don't plan a Legion, then you ride this instead, then you'll have a better defense on your opponent's turn. So mainly use it for that. You're not really going to use this Limit Break, but yeah, you could if you really need to for some reason. It also works really well with the starting Vanguard because you can just rest this card and then lock it. So pretty flexible card again. Starting Vanguard, definitely run this. Yeah. Next for the grade 2s, we're running 4 Hell's Draw, I believe her name is. When you call this into the Rearguard circle while you have a Amon Vanguard, you can Soul Charge 2. So she's just a basic Soul Charger. Very good card. Combos well with Doreen, so you can get some power ups from there. Really like these cards that get your immediate soul charge when you call them, because you can set up plays. It doesn't put any pressure up, but it's fine because you can just call this soul charge 2, and then if you're in Legion or something, you can just kill this off or put this into soul with Amon's effect. That's something you could do, but you don't have to do. Next, we're running 3 of the new unit that we got. I think her name is Hell's Nail. When this card attacks, you can special counterblast one Amon unit, and then you can soul charge 3. So it happens in the battle phase, so it does not combo with Doreen, but soul charging 3 is quite a lot, so we run her. And there is a lot of non-Amon units in this deck, so we don't want to max these out. But she's still quite useful. Getting 3 soul, sometimes it just accelerates the plays that you can do later on. But anyway, next we play 2 Psychoglaive. This is a card that I like to use to rush my opponent because a 14k attacker by himself, and he becomes a 21k if you combo it with a 7k booster behind it, or 7k. If it's 17k, it's a 22k attacker, so pretty powerful. You can also soul charge 1. So yeah, basically, but you need to have 6 soul. So it's like this: when you card this card into Vanguard or Rearguard circle, counterblast 1. If you have 6 or more soul, you can soul charge 1, and then this card gets plus 5,000 power. So yeah, we don't really want to max this card out because soul charge 1 isn't that much, but sometimes it might be the 1 soul you're missing, and 5k power does make a difference. So it's a tech. I like it. And the other unit we're running is a standard 12k attacker. If you have Amon Vanguard, so you can either run 4 Psychoglaive or 4 of the 12k attacker, but I like 2/2 because it gives me more options. If you go first and you attack with this and on your opponent's 7k Vanguard, it could be more beneficial. But later on, if you want to have hit an extra magic number and you can't use Doreen for some reason, then the Psychoglaive is probably a better unit to use. But yeah, it just gives you a bit more option. Let's go on to the great ones. We're running 2 Stride boosters. Only run 2 because we have 9 grade 3s, so it is definitely enough, and 2 is just in case, so that's kind of handy. Next we're running 4 of the Great One version of Hell's Draw. Forgot what her name is, but she soul charges 2 when you call this card into Vanguard or Rearguard. When you call this into Rearguard circle, if you have Amon Vanguard. So again, these 2 only work if you have Amon Vanguards and they're placed in the Rearguard circle, which is most of the time because the only non-Amon units we're playing are the Great Ones. So yeah. Next we're going to play 3 Doreen. You could max her out, but there's a lot of plays late game where when you're about to finish your opponent that you don't really soul charge. So when that happens, it might not be useful, but a lot of times she is useful. And if you happen to damage check or put them into drop zone for some reason, then you can always legion them back in. Running 4 is... I just don't like running 4, but you can take out one of these for another Doreen, but I like the extra soul charge power instead. Or you can just not run the Amon reverse and play the 4th Amon to run another Doreen, which is what I did before, but I find having a 13k body on my opponent's turn sometimes more useful if the deck isn't very good at hitting high numbers. So yep. Next we're running 4 Perfect Guards. It's the Amon Perfect Guard, so the deck doesn't use too much counterblast, so we don't really need the Perfect Guard Gs. For triggers, we're running 8 crit, 4 draws, and 4 heal. I would suggest running 12 crit, because this deck is amazing with 12 crit, but I kind of like the Hysteric Shirleys, simply because you get the extra soul charges if you are short for some reason. So these are always helpful if you have them in hand, but if you don't, then running another critical trigger is probably the next best thing, or it might be even better thing, because the main purpose of this deck is to kill your opponent because they can't guard it, and we'll talk about that when I show you the G-Zone, which is now. Now this is the ace of the deck. Here we have Gilles de Rais. It's French, but I think think it's French, but I can't pronounce it. But yeah, G-BT03. Yeah. Anyway, his skill is once per turn, you can G Persona Blast, and if you do that, you get, and while you have 10 soul, you get 10k power. If you have 15 soul, this card gets a new skill. When this card attacks a Vanguard until the end of the battle, your opponent can call grade 1 or greater cards from hand to Guardian Circle. And if the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone is 2 or more, this card gets an extra critical. So this card just gains a crapload of effects by having certain increments of soul. Hitting 15 is very easy in this deck, so you don't really need to worry about that. And since he's the second stride you go into, most of the time you'll have enough soul by the time you can use them. And the reason why this card is amazing, because when you stride over Amon units, you can still use this. So you can rest it. And you're going to have at least 15 soul, so you'll have at least 15k power. 15k power boost. So he'll be swinging for 31 by himself. And if you use a G Persona Blast, he'll get another 10k. So he'll be 41k by himself. And your opponent can't use Perfect Guards, so they're going to have to drop a lot of shields. And if you soul charge a lot that turn and you call a Doreen, you'll be swinging even bigger. And at that time, your opponent just has to pray for a heal trigger. Because if they're at 4 damage, you have a pretty good chance of killing them that turn. And since you get an extra drive, you get 3 drive checks. If your opponent is doing for 1 to pass, it's very likely that you'll hit a trigger. So next, for the other G units, we are running the the rare unit. I forgot what her name is. I think it's Kiss Kill Lila. Yeah. So her skill is when this card hits a Vanguard, you can soul charge 2, and if your soul is 6 or more, you can draw a card. So this card puts the pressure on your opponent early game. They might not want to draw, because normally Dark Irregulars don't really have great draw power, but thanks to this card, it improves it a bit. So that is great. Pretty good card. And we're running 2 Amon. I think it's Claw of Amon or something of the sort. But his skill is once per turn, you can counterblast 1, and if you have a Vanguard with Amon in its name, you can choose 2 of Amon rear guards, and they get, for every 5 soul, they get plus 3,000 power. Now, I rarely use this. I use this when I see my opponent have a lot of zeros in their hand, and pretty much not much besides then, because a lot of times if they drive check up under Perfect Guards, I laugh and just go, huh, attack with this, and yeah, because the new boss is pretty good. But yeah, Amon, this is pretty much a backup stride, or if for example you don't need to soul charge anymore, for example if you hit the amount of soul that you need and you just want to push more cards out of your opponent's hand, then you can stride into him instead. And then, for example, if you have 15 soul already, then you haven't done your first stride for some reason, then you can just kind of last 1, give a bunch of 2 units plus 9k because you have 15 soul, and then yeah, just force a bunch of guard of your opponent's hand, or they can take it, which is better for you because then you can just go into Gil and finish them the next turn. So yeah, this deck is really powerful, and I definitely recommend you guys to play this deck if you guys are interested. The deck is not expensive. I don't think there's really anything expensive in this deck. Yeah, because this deck doesn't really need Zaya compared to its previous build, the full-on Legion one before the Sharps came out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Oh yeah, I want to remind you. If you guys are wondering where I got these tour guide sleeves, I got them in Japan, so I don't think you can get them anymore. Some guys asked me in my previous Amon deck profile, and yeah, so yeah, you can't get these anymore, I don't believe. Even if you can find them, they're probably going to be really expensive. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. That's enough of me rambling. This is Cardfight, and I'll see you guys later.